Hello and welcome to the Kate Gourmet. Welcome to my new kitchen in Japan. For my first recipe in this new kitchen, I'm going to show you an easy recipe with a toaster, now that I have a toaster. It's called Doria. It's kind of like the Japanese version of gratin, except instead of using potato, you use rice. I'll show you how to make Doria with chicken, mushrooms, and a little spinach. Alright, let's get started. I'll be using some shimeji mushrooms, but shiitake or plain old button mushrooms, white or brown, would do too. No fancy cuts, just cut off the ends and break apart. For shiitake or button mushrooms, remove the stems and slice thinly. Set those aside. Next, I'll be using 1/4 of an onion, which I'll cut off the ends and slice thinly. Lift and make sure they break apart. Set those aside too. For the roux for the white sauce, we'll be using a couple tablespoons of butter and an equal 2 tablespoons of flour. This time I'll use chicken to make a chicken doria, so here are some chicken thighs that are cut into bite-sized pieces. As this is a rice casserole, we will of course need some rice. I would recommend preparing it in advance and letting it cool to room temperature first so it doesn't overcook in the casserole. This is a perfect way to use up leftover rice if you have it. That's all the prep we need to do. Let's get our filling started. Grab a large frying pan and start it on a medium heat. Pour in a little olive oil and make sure it covers the bottom of the pan. Once hot, add in chicken one by one, or give up on that idea and just dump it all in and break it apart. Make sure they aren't too crowded, and cook these so they get a little color on the outside. This would be a good time to season with a few shakes of salt and a couple of cracks of fresh black pepper. Give them another little mix or a toss. Once the chicken's cooked on the outside, push it to one side of the frying pan and toss in the sliced onions. Let those soften for a minute or two and then toss with the chicken. Clear some space in the frying pan again and add in the mushrooms. Cook until softened for a few minutes and then incorporate with the chicken and onions. The other vegetable I will add is a bag of frozen spinach. Frozen spinach and broccoli are available at any convenience store in Japan, so I always keep these around because they are great in recipes like this. Feel free to add greens of your choice. As with other casseroles, it's a great way to use up leftover vegetables. Have fun and experiment with what you like in your custom doria. Make sure to season again with salt and pepper. Everything is looking really good here, so it's time to build our roux. Add in the butter and give it a stir to melt it in. Once melted, sprinkle in the flour. Keep stirring so it's evenly coated. Pour about 400 milliliters of milk, or just under 1 3/4 US cups. And add that over the filling mixture little by little. Keep stirring as you add, and make sure it's low to medium-low heat. We don't want to scorch it now. Simmer until it thickens to a nice creamy consistency. Once it's looking like this, turn off the heat and let's assemble our doria. Get a couple of wide oven-proof dishes and rub those with some butter. It's time to layer. Add a little dollop of the filling at the bottom so the rice is getting flavor from both sides. Layer the rice evenly on top and flatten out as best as possible. Cover that with more of the filling and even it out so the rice is covered. Finally, and very important, let's layer that with some nice shredded melting cheese. Something like what you would use to make pizza would be good. We'll cover that in foil just at first. This is to protect the cheese from burning. Now they're ready to go in the oven. Throw it or gently place it in a toaster for about 10 minutes. This toaster doesn't have specific heat settings, but I'm using the setting that heats from both the top and the bottom. After 10 minutes, open and carefully remove the foil. Nice cheese pull. Put it back in the toaster and cook for another 5 minutes, but switch the heating element to just heat from the top. That should give it a nice crust. You could do this process in an oven too. I would guess at about 175 Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for the first 10 minutes, and then the broiler setting for the remaining 5. But don't quote me on that, watch it as you go so you don't end up burning the cheese. Open it up and that is looking pretty. Carefully take it out, set it on the counter to cool. While that cools, let's cook the second one in the toaster. And there it is, Doria. This is eaten with a spoon, and there's a nice crust of cheese on top, and you can just dig right in. Creamy chicken and vegetables. Let's give it a taste. So good, so simple to make. It's hearty, it's filling. Great way to use up leftover rice, leftover vegetables, any chicken or meat. Throw in what you have. This also works with sausage. Shrimp is very common. There's also meat sauce versions of it where you can take a leftover bolognese and make a version with it like that. So have fun with it. You can change it up to your liking and make your own Doria. So there it is, Doria. Give it a try at home. It's very simple. You can do it with a toaster oven. Of course, if you have an oven, that's fine too. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more recipes just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.